And I'm Ashley.
And we're digital affiliate marketers. So tonight we're going to talk about the power of now. And Ash has been reading a book from Eckhart Tolle on the power of now. And we've been discussing, I read the book a little while ago and Ash is reading it right now. And we've been discussing all about the concepts in there and how they really relate to what we do in business and how they are such a big part of what we do, these concepts, that it isn't just business strategy. It's a lot about the way our mind works and mindset and what we might call inner work. It's all of that. And when you look at successful business people or successful people in any field where they have to set goals and they have to meet expectations and they have to expand and they grow, and like athletes, business people, anyone like that, they will always tell you that a large part of it is the inner work. Yeah. And we often say it's 80%. It's 80% of success in anything. And we're talking about success in wealth creation, in creating an income online and creating an income that's really going to set you up, not just a side income, something that's really going to set you up in wealth. So one of the big things about when we think about now is like right now. Yeah. It's the only place we've really got, because the past is gone and the future hasn't happened yet. So we've only got this one place, which is right now. And as that relates to a business journey, we've often got lots of goals that are in the future. And we can get really, really hung up on that destination somewhere in the future. We can get really hung up on meeting that goal, getting that thing, and that future destination. But when we're so busy trying to live in that future destination and trying to get there and striving so hard, we actually forget to be in the now at all. And when you're not in the now at all, you're not able to enjoy the journey. And so if we can find comfort and find happiness in the journey itself, not the destination, it makes for a lot happier progress as you go along. You're still going for that destination. You're still getting those results and going for those results. But what you're doing is actually falling in love with the process to get there. You're loving all the little bits that you do. And we talk about this all the time when we're chatting together. We're saying, how do we get to have this much fun and make this much money? Yeah. Because we truly, truly love the journey. And this is part of the journey, talking to you on a Sunday night. We love it. This is not a struggle. This is not something that we're struggling to get to somewhere else. This is happening right now. And we love it. We love it so much.
I love thinking about this so much. And I think I am someone who is very goal orientated, and I would imagine Fran's a little bit similar to me as well in that aspect of I've always been someone who's an overachiever, who sets really strong intentions and goals, and I have been known to get caught up in that and lose sight of the now, like the present moment. There's been so many times in my life where I'm so busy going for a big goal, and in this group we're talking a lot about a business, so for me it's often business goals where I'm excited and I'm inspired and I'm like, woo, like this month's gonna be amazing. And might I add, it really is amazing for Fran and I at the moment. Just had to throw that in there. But I know for me as well, sometimes losing sight of what's actually happening right this moment now has gotten me into a pickle. Now I'll give you some context. So I have always been someone who, like I said, planning my goals, looking forward towards them, and they are in the future, right? And I think this idea of like, what if this doesn't happen, or what if this does happen, or what am I going to do with that? Like you spend all of this energy preparing and trying to control something that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
And I think it's this idea of control. Now, I am a hands up admitted control freak.
Make that two of us.
And me and Fran are just way too similar. We used to just hang out too much. We were saying this just today. We're like, we just need to spend less time together because we're just so similar. But being a control freak and trying to control the future always leaves you feeling dissatisfied because it's not humanly possible. Right. And I think this idea of focusing on the step you are taking right now. What are you doing right now? Now, I'm not saying that means you can't have goals and ambitions and things you're working towards. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying don't get caught up in trying to control an outcome that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
That's the powerful part of this, and something that reading this book, I've heard of this concept, I've crossed paths with it before, but this book has really just cemented this idea of all we have right now is this moment and what we're choosing to do with it. And I think, you know, being able to focus on that allows you to kind of take back that feeling of I can't control what's going to happen in the future, because you can't. And you shouldn't try to. That's not the point.
Yeah.
That's not the point.
Yeah. And in that control, when you're trying to control everything, that you can get really caught up in just trying to create, and you forget to live.
Yeah.
I've seen people who get so caught up in work, and often work they're not enjoying, work they hate.
Yeah.
In the drudgery of work just to retire, the 30 or 40 years of work just to get the pension at the end, or the superannuation or whatever it is. And so they get caught up in that life of not having a life. They're so busy making the money in jobs that they hate, things that they don't want to do, long hours away from family, long hours away, and they justify it with, but it's going to be worth it in the end.
Yeah.
But when you talk about in the end all the time, you're never in the now. You're always, this can be worth it in the end, worth it in the end. Now, I'm not saying you don't strive for things in your future. We're doing that all the time. All the little things that we do daily are to expand and go into the future. But it's about not, you know, living your life tied to that, tied so strongly to the money or the job or the commitment or whatever, that you just don't have a life, and life, you know, goes by. And there's so many people that we see that happen to, and people who've given their all to jobs and given their all to careers and have missed out on so much of the special things of life. They haven't chased their passions. They haven't had family time. They've hardly traveled. They've not been able to do anything. Now, I've had a different model passed down from my parents, which I was really grateful for, because they did work quite hard. That when they first married, they were poor, as in dead broke poor, and really scraping. And they both worked through their working life, and then toward, you know, into their 40s, they started to build some resources up, and they actually went into business in a shop. And they had a really fun time doing it. They had a secondhand shop, and they loved going out and buying their things and bringing them back into their shop, and deciding what price they're going to put on it, and having all these different eclectic things in the shop. They really did love it, and they really did live in the moment. And they didn't tie themselves to that for too long. They actually retired at 55. So they already knew the power of not getting so tied to the work that they were going to have to work into their 70s and sort of then just retire. They retired from that, sold the shop, retired from it, and travelled at 55. They travelled Australia. That was their big dream. They wanted to travel Australia, and they hooked up a van and off they went, and they just had the most amazing time. And that was a great model for me to see how they loved their work. They enjoyed the now when they were in it, but they didn't get sucked into it. They got in it enough to get enough out of it, so that they could really live life. And that was a great lesson for me, and one I've been striving for. And it's exactly why I'm in online business, because I can enjoy the moments right now. I am building more wealth and more things in my life, but I'm enjoying it right now as well. And I'm just coming up on 60. So basically I'm retired, just working a bit online, having a whole lot of fun. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, it's almost like having the best of both worlds, isn't it? And I think that's why we're so passionate about, you know, what we're doing here online, because it is so focused around enjoying what you're actually doing, while also focusing on the life that you're creating and the things that you're bringing into your reality, you know, the goals that you have. And I think when I think of this, for me, it's like, you know, the life that you are creating now, the one that you are, you know, striving to actually live in, it's actually just made up of all of these little moments, isn't it? Like when it comes to the big results, the big success, the big goals that we achieve, like that actual achieving of that thing is like 1 second. 1 second, 1 minute, 1 day even, right?
Yeah.
But what about the years that it took you to get there? You know, that is the point. And that's the point that we're trying to get across to you tonight is, you know, it is actually all about the little moments, because that's actually all there is. Like, and I think it's just such a beautiful way to think about the way that you're going about life. Because I know for me, and I think the way that we're brought up and the way that we're conditioned, it's so the other way around. It's like you just work really hard and work yourself into the ground, and then on the weekends you get to enjoy life, you know. Or like Fran was saying, you work for 30, 40 years, and then when you retire you can start living. Like the model that we're brought up in so often doesn't support us to think about life this way. And I think when I've been reading this book and when Fran and I have been talking, you know, it really just cemented the fact that now is all we have. And I like, this is the only life that we're going to get to live. And I think, is it not the entire point to actually be living in this moment right now? Like, isn't that the whole point of life? Like, obviously we want to have the big goals, and obviously we're going to be striving towards making that money, living the lifestyle, the freedom, the choice. But if we're not actually present and enjoying the now, what's the point of it all?
Yeah.
There is no point. Like it's like, it doesn't make any sense. And I think that idea was just really cemented for me, and it really made me stop and go, this is why I love what we do so much, because we are so living in the now. We're enjoying it. Like, this is why Fran and I, we're always laughing, having fun. Like, the whole point of what we're creating is to build towards that lifestyle, and we're enjoying it and we're having fun along the way. Like, it just reminded me of the point, the entire purpose of it all. And I was like, oh my God, I get it now. And I think, you know, if nothing else, just take that away from this talk today. Just take that inspiration to go, I can build towards those goals that I want. You know, I can, you know, plan where I'm going and look ahead and go, okay, this is how I'm going to get there, while also being present and enjoying the now and living in the now, because that is the point.
Yeah. I think gratitude plays a lot into that too, because whatever your now is just perfect. Yeah. And you can still strive for more, but right now, whatever your now is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. And we're grateful for all that is and all that's coming.
Yeah. I think it's, just thinking about that you can have the both, that you can live in the now while also planning for the future. So that's it from us tonight. Bye.
Bye.